Super Rugby is back this week. Super Rugby Pacific 2024 kicks off, baby. Kicks off. I'm gonna be previewing this year's Super Rugby, what I think about the teams, what I think about their signings, how they did, touching on how they did a little bit last year and what we can expect from them this year. There's a lot of teams to get through, guys, so I'll only be spending a little bit of time on each team. So don't come at me in the comments. I mean, I'm all for your comments. Leave a comment, but don't come at me if I miss little itsy bitsy bits from each team. I'm going to try and cover as much as I can of each team. But how good Super Rugby is back. I remember when I was 9, 10 years old, skipping class to go watch the Super Rugby in the mornings with the teachers in the big assembly halls. Because back in South Africa, Friday night games here was Friday morning there, so we're still at school. So I'd ask the teacher if I could go to the toilet quick, because I knew the PE teachers were watching the Super Rugby in the big screen in the assembly. So I'd go stand in the back there and watch with them. Now I get to watch. Now it's after work, baby. I can watch all the games. How good. But we are going to jump straight into previewing this year's teams. Let's get into it. Starting down the bottom of the 2023 table with Moana Pasifika. They come up against the mighty Highlanders first up. Got the new coaching staff in Tana Umaga at head coach. Stephen Jones, Wales legend, and Tom Coventry have come in as assistant coaches. And then James Lay has been named as their new captain. If that doesn't get you excited, that coaching staff, surely there's something's in the wind there. And I feel that. It's a super exciting squad. May take a little bit of time for the coaches to kind of implement how they want to play. But having someone like Tana Umaga there, knowing that or what these Pacifica players bring to a team and what style they are best suited to play, I don't think they'll veer too far away from their natural ability to run the ball, run over someone, run around someone, bringing their skill set in, letting the boys play. So I'm super excited for that. I think this Pacifica team will definitely turn some heads this year. And I'm picking them to beat at least 3 of the top 6 teams. At least 3. There will be some victories for this Pacifica team against higher ranked sides. Don't watch out for this Moana side. Big signings over the off-season were Julian Sevilla and Sione Havili Talatui. That's massive signings. 2 guys that know what it takes to win a Super. Obviously, Sione Havili coming from the Crusaders and Julian Sevilla back in the day winning it with the Hurricanes. These guys know what it takes to consistently win games, know what it takes to win the Super. I think off-field, they'll be massive for this Pacifica side. A lot of younger guys in there, a lot of inexperienced players at super level, and these guys will be, I think, like drilling them down on what needs to be, what it takes to win the Super or to win games, bringing that extra buzz around training on field as well, of course. My player to watch, and you probably know him, Miracle Faialangi. Oh man, one of the first players to come through the Samoan academy, I'm pretty sure, and he's made his way to Moana Pasifika. Great that they've got those routes of ways, systems in place for guys to, if you're excelling at those academies, let's put you into. They've got players, they've got somewhere to look forward to. They're seeing their brothers playing or their cousins, their uncles playing at Super Rugby level. I know what I need to do to get there. Awesome to see. Made his debut for Samoa at the World Cup. Great. None of this would have happened if Moana Pasifika wasn't around. So good to see, man. He's strong, fit, powerful, skillful as well as a back rower. I think he goes to a new level this year with Moana. I definitely see improvement with this Moana side. I don't want to jump too far ahead because it is a new coaching staff. They are still building that core group of players experience in that squad. I think they will still finish in that 9 to 12 bracket on the ladder. Hopefully not wooden spooners. I think the squad is too exciting to be wooden spooners. It's whether they can bring it all together is the big question there. Moving on, Melbourne Rebels. They play the Brumbies first up. Good old Aussie derby. Coach Kevin Foote is there, another fellow South African down under, and newly appointed captain Rob Leota. They definitely want to forget about last year's season, finishing second last, fighting for that wooden spoon with Pacifica. I think all Aussie teams this year have a point to prove with what happened at the World Cup with the Wallabies not performing to their best of their abilities. I think with all the Aussie teams in the Super, they've obviously got their Wallabies players within the squads, and these guys they'll want a point to prove. We are better than how the World Cup turned out. Rebels are an interesting one for me. They do have a core group of players that have been there for a long time. They should be able to perform week in, week out. It's whether they have the depth. I feel like a few injuries happen. We know this happens all the time. Injuries happen during the season. It's whether they have enough depth to fill those the kind of the starting spots, those starting players, the starting 15 players get injured. Do we have the depth to fill that up? Big signings in the off-season, obviously the Tongan Thor, Taniela Tupou, and then Matty Proctor, both international players. Tupou obviously going to lead from the front. If he can stay fit all year, let's bandage up. Doko, let's bandage up that calf. Look after that calf. Obviously loves the scrum, loves carrying the ball as well. He'll be massive for them for their go forward. And same with Proctor. Devastating in the centres. I think this is a great signing for them. He'll do well for them setting like that first phase and then being able to play off that. So that's a massive signing there for them. Crucial, like I said, crucial for their attack. Players to watch for me for Rebels, we all know him. Carter Gordon was chucked in the deepest of ends during the World Cup, even before that in the championship. He's a quality player. He played really well in last year's Super Rugby campaign. I think he goes to that new level. He want to come out, any doubters that he did have before, he'd want to just be like, I deserve to be there. He is quality. He's a quality player. I think he goes to a new level, gets more games under his belt, takes this team, like this is my team, takes them by the scruff of the neck and says, let's go, man. Carter Gordon will be my player to watch. And then special mention to Brad Wilkin on the side, in the back row. Tough as nails. He's been in and around Aussies or Wallaby squads, I'm pretty sure. But I think, he loves getting in the thick of it. And I think he'll go to a new level this year with the Rebels. I'd like to say I see improvement in the squad. They've done well with the few signings they've brought in. There's been lots of, where there's smoke, there's always fire, I feel like, with financial backing of the club. There's been issues around that. I don't know too much about that. I'm just worried about what happens on the field. Obviously, there'll be a bit of unrest with players, like, am I getting paid? What's happening? What's the future like? So I see a little bit of improvement, but not much. I see them staying in that 9 to 12 bracket. I see them finishing in that 9 to 12 area. If things don't go nicely for them early with injury-wise, they could be fighting for that wooden spoon spot again. Moving on. All right, so Western Force play versus the Hurricanes first up. Home game in Perth. How good. Later, because it's so weird. Like, the time zones for me is crazy. I'm in Sydney, just outside of Sydney. Perth in Australia, but it's a 5-hour difference. So the kickoff is at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I'm sleeping then, boy, but I'll watch the highlights. Western Force, obviously lots of excitement around their squad coach, Simon Cron, and captains, Jeremy Williams, with co-captains, Michael Wells and Nick White. Like I said, a lot of excitement around the Force. Another team that has been through everything, the thick of it. Kicked out of Super, had to go play in rapid rugby with like teams from Hong Kong and China. They back in it. They've been through it all, man. They've made massive signings in the off-season. Great depth, I feel like, throughout their squad. Adding depth, like the big signings have obviously helped add depth throughout the squad. And we all know that's super important during the season because injuries happen just like that. We've seen it before. Clubs get rocked by injuries, and you're either bringing guys out of retirement or you're calling in a club's 3rd, 4th grade player to help out. I almost feel like Western Force is the club for exiles or like expats, guys that have kind of been given the boot from other clubs and want to rejuvenate or reinvigorate their career somewhere else, and Western Force give them a gig. It's like The Replacements, the movie with Keanu Reeves. Similar to that. Big signings, obviously, Ben Donaldson and Nick White. Donaldson last year with a breakout here, getting selected in the Wallaby squad for the World Cup. Yes, the World Cup didn't go to plan, but that's not Donaldson's fault. He did really well. I think he's got the record now for most points in a game for the Wallabies at a World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, against Georgia. Good on him. I hope that's right. I'm not just digging that out of nowhere. He's obviously headed west to link up with Nick White. I think Nick White's signing was made before him. They would have been in talks for sure. Nick White, obviously, we all know him, comes in with ample experience. I always say you can't buy experience, but in this case, I think Western Force have. They've got a quality 9 at the moment there with Isaac Finesse Lelewasa. I think that's how you say it. Gun quality halfback, and obviously be working nice and tightly with Nick White. I've always said it too, that experience that older players can pass on to the next players coming through, uncoachable. You can't buy that. That's what makes whatever they're paying Nick White worth it, 100%. Players to watch for me in this Western Force side, 2 backline players. First up, Harry Potter. Yes, you heard that right. Harry Potter and Max Bury. Max Bury's been there for 2 or 3 seasons now. Kind of covers the 10 and 15 position. I'm thinking with Donaldson being there, he might help out at fullback. I mean, they've got Chase Tia as well. That's what I'm saying. Depth around. Good. Max Bury can kick the leather off a ball. Quality off the tee and out of hand. Like I say, covers that 10 and 15 position really well. Harry Potter, I think he's played a little bit in Europe. He's originally from Sydney. Quality player. Deceptively quick, strong as well. Elusive, busts tackles on the wing. He's not the biggest or fastest player, but somehow eludes tackles really well. A little bit of magic. I have to make that joke. But watch out for him there. Also, they brought in Naya Rivoro, big Fijian, played at Waratahs previously before. Just like I said, depth in those positions, experience as well helps. Definitely helps. Will Harris, 8th man from Waratahs, is signed there as well. And then Hamish Stewart, also big signings. Hamish Stewart in the centres. Again, just adding depth across the park. Guys that have kind of been pushed to the side from previous clubs coming together like the replacements. I think Western Force are all out of all the Aussie teams, this is like the wild card. I'm not too sure how they're going to go. They have the squad to do really well, to kind of get a few unexpected wins in there. I think they do better this year than last year. They were in the bottom half or the bottom quarter last year. I think this year they jump up to that 5-8, between 5 and 8 bracket. And yeah, hopefully, well, that will be quarters. So I see them doing really a lot better this year, the Western Force. All right, moving on. The Highlanders, the mighty Highlanders, playing Moana first up. And they've got Jamie Joseph back as head of rugby. I'm pretty sure he'll do a lot of the coaching as well. And then newly appointed El Capitano in Billy Harmon. I like that, man. I like that. Captain the Crusaders in the NPC or the ITM Cup. Has done a job for whoever he's played for the longest time. Obviously leads by example. A great player. So watch this space. Obviously won the Super Rugby back in 2015 and haven't really threatened that title again since. A lot of inexperienced players in the squad, but also a lot of guys that have been there and thereabouts as well, if that kind of makes sense. Some exciting players in the squad, along with some hard grafters, guys that do the donkey work, that do the work that not a lot of people talk about, but they're in there getting it done. The big signings for me, and these are tongue twisters, but stick with me here. Tomathi Tavatanawai, who's come from Pacifica to the Highlanders. Big Fijian fella. Loves to run over the top of people. Deceptively quick as well. Quite short and stocky. Man, an out-and-out finisher. An out-and-out finisher. The depth that the Highlanders have in their back three is scary. Another signing they made, Jacob Ratumaitavuki Netkins. Another winger from the Blues. Fast. Skillful, elusive. I like him a lot. He's someone to watch in this Highlanders squad. Those two signings, two wingers, very different styles of play, different body shapes, but both out-and-out finishers, natural finishers. Other players to watch for me, Sam Gilbert had a great NPC season and a great back end of Super season last year. He will want to obviously take that next step this year. Other guys that I'm looking forward to watching is Connor Garden-Bashop in the backs and Billy Harmon obviously in the forwards. These guys have kind of been in and around it for a bit, but guys that want to take that next step, potentially push for New Zealand honours, All Blacks honours. But, man, I love Connor Garden-Bashop. Probably maybe put him at fullback or on the wing. But like I said, that depth in the back three that the Highlanders have, unreal, man. Unreal. Tough one to call this for the Highlanders, where they'll finish on the log. Because a lot of it depends on injuries as well. I do think that they will stay in that 9 to 12 bracket. I could be totally wrong there. Like, Highlanders, prove me wrong, man. I've got the jersey or the t-shirt. Prove me wrong. All right, and before I forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe, the notification button, tick that one as well. Helps me grow the platform. Helps me get seen by more views. I think that's how it works. My media team told me to say that. I'm the media team. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back into it. Reds. First game versus Waratahs. The Queensland, New South Wales derby there. Coach Les Kiss and captain or co-captains Tate McDermott and Liam Wright. Out of all the Aussie teams, this is the most promising team, I feel like. The most exciting squad out of all the Aussie teams. Kind of the excitement mixed in with core group of players that have been playing there for a long time. Been building really well under Brad Thorne. Now with Les Kiss, obviously adding a little bit of his spices to the nice big pot, if you will. New energy at the club. Obviously tons of experience. Players, again, that have played together with each other for a long time. I mean, you name them. Harry Wilson, Tate McDermott, Liam Wright, Fraser McWright. Then there's Jordan Pataya, Isaac Henry, Josh Fluke, Jock Campbell, like Hunter Paisami, all these guys, Vunivalu. Lots of guys that have been playing together for such a long time. They have to reap the reward sometime. something has to give. You know what I mean? So in the off season, Jeffrey Tumanga Allen signed with the club, puts massive depth in that front row. In their front row stocks, obviously having played for the All Blacks before, previously with the Hurricanes. Massive experience added to the front row there. And I don't think they needed to make any more signings. Like all the players I mentioned just before, like you've got depth throughout the squad. Then you look at the exciting younger players coming through. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips, the 10. That 10 battle as well. Michael Liner, McLaughlin-Phillips, James O'Connor is there as well. And then, do I have his name down here? Crichton, yeah. Lawson Crichton is the other one. So in that 10 jumper, there's 4 players already. And out of all those 4 players can probably play 12 and 15 if have to. James O'Connor can play anywhere in the back line. So their depth is amazing, especially in the back line. So he's my player to watch, Harry McLaughlin-Phillips. Only 19 or 20 years old. Played for Wallabies under 20s. He's coming through the ranks now. Played for Souths in the Queensland club rugby comp. Quality, man. Exciting, confident. Just doesn't, no care for his body. Strong in tackles. Sees an opportunity, takes it. There's no disregard of or thought of, oh, maybe I should stick to the... yes, you obviously want a 10 that plays the game plan. But he always if you see an opportunity, gun for it. And he definitely does that. I hope he gets opportunity to show what he's worth this year. And then, like I said, guys like Fluke, Paisami, Pataya, Harry Wilson, Campbell, Fraser McWright, Liam Wright, all these guys will want to level up this year. Harry Wilson will want to jump back into that Wallabies squad, into the Wallabies mix. These guys are going to stick their hands up real high and show what they're worth, man. Save face for Australian rugby. Like I said, Aussie rugby is in a weird space at the moment. So these guys will have a point to prove. Their squad has so much depth, like I said, across the park. I feel like Reds and the Brumbies will be nick and nick for who does better out of the Aussie teams. But this Reds squad is too good to not make top 4 this year. So I'm putting Reds in that 1 to 4 bracket, making quarters, what they do there, and is up to them, pushing for semis as well. So we'll see. Prove me wrong. Let's see about that. Moving on. Fijian Drua. Oh, where do you start, man? First game versus the Blues. Coach Mick Byrne, Captain Meli Derinalangi. Been there for a while, knows what it takes, knows what to do, knows how to get the boys rallied up, knows when to drink his kava and when not to. Oh, man, Drua are going to be an absolute handful this year. A proper rugby handful. At home, especially in Fiji, in front of all their fans, I bet you all their home games are sold out already. A team is not traveling to Fiji and winning this year. I think Fiji at Drua at home becomes a fortress. They just win there. Man, this squad, the exciting plays, like what I love most about Fiji and Drua since they've come in is at the start of the season, yes, 1 or 2 guys. There's a couple of no names. But then halfway through the season, you can pick out 5 guys that before the season you had no clue who they are, and now they are world beaters and just gun quality athletes. And that's what we're going to see from this Fijian Drua squad this year. Couple years in the Super now. Last year they made the quarters and got smoked in the quarters. Can they push on? Players to watch for me. Rakuru. I think Rakuru is how you say it. Winger scored an absolute worldie in the Brumbies trial, which is last week or 2 weeks ago. Strong, fast, electric, elusive skill sets. Got a good step, a strong fend. Like all Fijian wingers, man. But he just looks a little bit faster, if that's even possible. So, scary prospect there. I think Caleb Muntz, the 10, gutted for him, got that knee injury just before the Rugby World Cup. Hopefully he's all rehabbed and ready to go, and he comes back in and puts his hand up again, gets back in the mix for that Fijian squad. And obviously the guys that have played for Fiji in the World Cup say, like, Fiji did super well in this year's World Cup. All the guys that were in that mix will be coming back with so much confidence, man, and spreading that confidence throughout this Fijian squad, showing them what it takes to be winners, to beat Wallabies at the highest stage, to compete with the likes of Wales, to do that at the highest stage, man, spreading that professionalism, what it takes, and still keeping that natural instinct that the Fijian guys do have. I think Drua, I think they go one better this year. I think they finish in that 5 to 8 bracket, obviously in the quarters, and then push for semis. I think they make a semi. Obviously depends on where. Hopefully if they can snag a home semi-final, tickets, man, they're in the final then. And then who knows, man, on the day what can happen. But definitely quarterfinals for me, the Fijian Drua. Moving on. Waratahs. First game versus the Reds. Big New South Wales versus Queensland derby there. Coach Darren Coleman, captain Jake Gordon. Well, firstly, Darren Coleman has been given 4 rounds, is what the Sydney Morning Herald has been reporting on. Has been given 4 rounds to prove himself this year. His contract runs until the end of this year. Yep. So he had a 2-year contract, and whether or not they will then extend depends on these first 4 rounds. So they've got to make inroads. Something has to happen early. The trials leading up, pumped versus Rebels, pumped versus Queensland Reds. So I don't know. I have a funny feeling the Tars are going to underperform this year. They've been building again the squad for a long time, but just nothing has been shown. They've got depth in certain positions, but nothing special. The only thing that I'm hoping for is what I know about the Coleman brothers, Baba included. Baba Coleman, coach of the Hunter Wildfires, Darren Coleman. They've done it before. They've always got an ace up their sleeve. Something always happens. Maybe he's just been testing a few things in the trials. Come first round, comes out and actually smokes the Reds. I wouldn't put it past them. Big signings in the off-season are Hayden Thompson-Stringer, massive prop, ample experience in the front row. Applied his trade over in Europe for a bit. But that front row is just stacked. Hayden Thompson-Stringer, Angus Bell, Parekis in the hooking position. You've got Harry Johnson-Holmes in there as well. Nice. Miles Amatosero, a monster lock or back rower. Just adding more size to this Waratahs forward pack. Something they were lacking kind of before Coleman got there. When he got there, he started bringing big guys in like Jed Holloway, massive forward, big forward for them. And it's how Waratahs, when they won back in 2014, I think it was, they had a massive forward pack. They were going forward, getting over that advantage line. It helps. You need that. To set up these elusive backs that they have, you need front football. My players to watch, Teddy Wilson, classy little number 9, obviously will be sitting behind Jake Gordon, and Jake Gordon's captain, but who knows with injuries. Give Teddy Wilson a bit of time. Quality, number 9. Charlie Gamble gets a special mention as well. He's been in and around those Wallabies camps. A proper fetcher, just a pest at ruck time. I see him go to that new level just to be like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still stealing balls at rucks. I'm still making 1,000 tackles a game. Don't forget about me. That will be Charlie Gamble. And then Tane Edmeade with Ben Donaldson gone now. Can the pressure slightly be off, but him be like, this is my 10 jumper. A special mention there. I see Waratahs falling down to that 9-12 bracket. Like I said, poor in the preseason trials. Coleman's been given 4 rounds to kind of prove his worth with the squad. Tough ask, man. So let's see. Prove me wrong. Now for the Hurricanes. Woo! First game versus the Force away in Perth. The Canes, baby. The Canes, my New Zealand team. Coach Clark Laidlaw, Corey Jane, assistant coach, CJ. And then Brad Shields, captain, with Asafo Moa and Geordie Barrett as co-captains. My teams, man. Canes in for a massive season. The Canes are here. I might be biased because, yes, they are my New Zealand team since the Jerry Collins, Tano Manga, I've lost Christian Cullen, John Olomu, Ma'a Nonu days, Conrad Smith, man, TJ Barrett days, since back in the day, man. They do have a quality squad throughout, I feel like. Another one of those teams that have kind of been there and thereabouts, but haven't really threatened for that title in a while. When it comes to those knockout stages, then kind of seem to fade away. No real big signings in the offseason. Obviously, Brad Shields coming back, he'll add a lot of... I don't see him as a big signing because he's been there before, but kind of is a big signing because he's the captain as well. Add, obviously, that experience that he can then filter down throughout the squad. With younger loose trio, that their depth in that loose trio. Yes, Artie Severe's gone. Big hole to fill. But Peter Lakai, Duplessis Karifi, strong loose trio here. And I think Brad Shields will just add little bits to those guys' repertoire. Those guys kind of play a different style. Yes, similar in a lot of ways, but their own little style. But Brad Shields to add a bit to that. Obviously, TJ Perenara, another one coming back, been out for a year and a bit. Man, the amount of the experience he brings in, knowledge he can pass on to someone like Cam Roygaard. So obviously had a massive breakout season last year, playing for the All Blacks at the World Cup. Scary prospect that he could just bounce to a whole new level and Perenara help him get there. Players to watch for me, obviously Cam Roygaard, huge year last year, and he'll just keep pushing. He want to jump for that 9. That 9 spot's up for grabs. Aaron Smith is out, so that All Blacks 9 jumper is there. Can he push for it? And then I think, again, huge year for guys like Peter Lakai, Duplessis Karifi, Ruben Love, and Josh Morby. Watch out for Morby at fullback. Had a belter over here the back end of last year. That's all I could hear on the commentators when I was watching a Hurricanes game. Morby here, Morby. And in the NPC as well, Gunn here. He'll be just one of consistent footy, getting touches on the ball, and let's play, man. Quality player at fullback. Canes finished just outside of that top 4 spot last year. This year, I think they'll stay in that 5 to 8 bracket just because that top bracket is so tight. Hopefully pushing into those semis, but definitely quarterfinals for me. What do you think of this Hurricane squad, and where do you think they will end up? Let's jump on to the next team. And now moving on to the top 4 finishes of last year, Super Rugby Pacific. If you're still here, hit that like, subscribe, notifications, all those fun things. It helps me grow, man. Helps me grow. Makes me do this more often. Reach out to more people to watch. Let's go, man. Going to be covering all the Super Rugby this year. If you like it, if you like Super Rugby, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and let's get into it. Let's go, man. Super Rugby's back. Get keen. Super Rugby is back. Looking at the top 4 finishes from 2023, Brumbies finished 4th. They play the Rebels first up this year. Be a good one. And it's Aussie derby, if you will. Coach Stephen Larkham, Captain Alan Alatoa. Last year lost in the semis to Chiefs 19-6. They definitely want to go one better. You always want to go one better. Even if you win the comp, you want to win it again next year. They've always been strong down in Canberra. It's cold. If you've ever played down in Canberra at nighttime, it's cold. It's a dry cold. I think I played there once and it was 6 degrees and it felt minus. It felt in the minuses. It's a tough place to go and win. And Brumbies love that. They know that. Come down here, come and play. It's cold, there's not much to do. The only thing to do in Brumbies in Canberra is moose heads afterwards. That's probably what everyone is thinking about, all the players, because it's a good time. Moose heads is a good time. Getting back to it, it's a settled squad, I feel like. Strong core group of players that have been playing there for a while. They all know what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and they kind of build around that. Some exciting players. It's again, with a lot of these squads, is just, can they keep injuries at bay? Because your starting 15 or 23 can be here, but then after that, can they keep injuries at bay, and can they improve one more? Can they improve this year? Again, a core group of players that have been playing together for a while. I think someone like Noah Lolesio, snubbed from the Wallabies World Cup squad, went away to play for Toulon as an injury cover, come back, he'll be itching to go. Got that little rivalry with Carter Gordon. First up, Carter Gordon versus Noah Lolesio. What a game that's going to be, man. What a game. He'll be keen to run that one up. And good. Let's go. Two young throbbers of the game going at it. Let's go. I hope to see more. One of the signings on the offseason was Harrison Goddard from the Waratahs, kind of sitting behind Jake Gordon at the Waratahs. Signed now with the Brumbies. I know Ryan Lonigan, I think it is their number 9. Can Harrison Goddard get a few games under his belt? Quality player. Great off the deck service. Super fit, gets around the park. Good box kick as well. I hope he gets the chance he deserves, man. He's been in and around Super Rugby, Melbourne Rebels, Waratahs, now Brumbies. Give this man some game time. Luke Raymer and Mick Hooper, obviously to have massive years. Mick Hooper was part of the Wallaby squad. He'll just want to go to that next level, as in, I want to make sure I'm still part of that Wallaby squad, not just a once-off. Let me get back in there. And then Raymer just being a pest at breakdown. One of the breakdown merchants last year, and just will want to just be adding on to that. Strong squad. There is a bit of depth in certain positions. Can they keep injuries away? I think they stay in that 1 to 4 bracket and into the semis, just because of that suffocating style of rugby they play. The Brumbies do. Whether they can win that semis, that's up to them. If they get a home semi, then maybe. But that's a tough old ask. Let's see. I think they stay in that one. They might even drop out of that 1 to 4 bracket into that 5 to 8 bracket. But I'm going to go 1 to 4 bracket. The Brumbies. Moving on. The Blues. First up versus Fijian Drua. What a game. What a game. Two of the most exciting squads going at it. First up, sheesh. Coach Vern Cotter and Captain Patrick Tuipulotu. Unfortunate for Pulotu with a fractured jaw in the preseason trials up in Japan. Yeah. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate there. Super exciting squad nonetheless. Plenty of talent across the park. Like I said, tough loss for Tuipulotu with a fractured jaw. Maybe Dalton Papali'i gets the nod for captain. But nonetheless, man, geez, you've got the Ioane brothers. You've got Talia, Caleb Clark, Papali'i, Tuangafasi. Like, the list just goes on and on of players. I feel like they are in their championship window. It's like, for how long are you going to keep all these guns together, all these quality players together? I think anything less than the finals is a failure for this Blues squad. Their social media is on point. One of the most followed Super Rugby teams. Like, let's let the rugby do the talking now. Let's rugby back that up. Angus Tarvale rejoins from the Chiefs. He's been there before. Massive. And like, he's obviously wanting to have a massive season there. Just obviously bolsters their front row stocks, along with all those other guys will want to have a massive season. Stefan Perofeta, obviously pushing for and to get back in that AB squad. Had a massive year with Taranaki, I'm pretty sure, at the NPC. Quality player. I think watching out, my players to watch out for Zahn Sullivan. Classy outside back. And then Cole Forbes stands out for me, adding depth to that 10, 15 position. Did a little bit of time in Europe. Wonder where he gets a bit of game time. Who knows? Bowden Barrett's only due to come back in 2025 or maybe only later this year. So there's a spot there. Harry Plummer is obviously an option there as well. We'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, finals and nothing less. I feel like Blues will fall in that 1-4 bracket, have a semi-final spot, and then could this be their year? What do you guys think? Let me know. The Blues. Moving on to the Crusaders. Crusaders obviously winners last year. They finished second. Opening game is the final, 2023 final. Versus the Chiefs. Crusaders versus Chiefs. What an opener, man. What an opener. Last year's final. New coach Rob Penny. Captain Scott Barrett. The reigning champs. The champs. The everything champs. Holy. Where do we start? Crusaders adapting to life without Razor, Scott Robertson, and without Richie Mo'unga. Biggest talking points for me. And that's massive. Your head coach and your fly-off that have been in and around that club now for around a decade? Could you say that much? That long? Yeah, close to a decade. They've been running. I mean, that's a massive void to fill. That doesn't just happen the next year. You know what I mean? That doesn't just happen. Owen Franks, Mataeli comes back. Ryan Crotty comes back. Whew, some old guns coming back, filling in, helping out, adding experience, adding depth to the squad. Rivas Rehana joins the squad as a 10. Can he fill that position that's been left open by Richie Mo'unga? Had a great year with Northland, I'm pretty sure, in the NPC. Lee Halfpenny is another big signing, but had a pec in an injury in a preseason game. That's tough, but I still think he's off the field, like what he can bring just knowledge-wise will be massive for the younger guys in that Crusaders squad. Levi Almoa, massive signing coming from Moana Pasifika, big centre. Killed it for Pacifica, killed it for the Mako in the NPC. Strong, bruising ball runner. Got nice soft skills as well, sleight of hand. He'll be wanting to push for All Blacks, baby. Get me in the Crusaders squad. Let me perform. He'll be one to watch for sure. They're my players to watch. Macca Springer on the wing. Played All Blacks under 20s. He's been there, this might be his third year or his second year. Fast winger, strong. Crusaders have always had a white winger that does really well. White outside back. Caleb Rolfe, Leon McDonald, Scott Hamilton with the curly white hair? They've always had a gun, white outside back. I think Macca Springer is Caucasian. There's just the old battler going hard for the Crusaders. Macca Springer is one of them. Killed it for the Tasman in the NPC. He'll be wanting to push for higher honours for sure. Noah Hotham, I think that's how you say it. Number 9, silky player. Scored a lovely try versus the Bristol Bears in their preseason games. Definitely someone to look out for. And then Quinton Strange, special mention there. Strong, big, lock forward. Leader within the squad as well, was named as their touring captain for the preseason trials. So definitely probably someone you know about already, but someone to look out for, someone that's probably pushing for higher honours. Look, even with the strong squad and the ABs and the guys returning and new signings, I think Crusaders adapting to life without Razor and Richie Mo'unga really is going to take a little bit of time to change up. I mean, you do have still the guys like Will Jordan, Scott Barrett, those guys, Joe Moody, those guys are still there. David Harville, still strong players. I think they fall out. This might be my, do you even take me seriously? I think Crusaders fall out of that 1 to 4 bracket into that 5 to 8 bracket. It's a tough ask, man. To stay at the top for that long, something's got to give. Something's got to give. I think they fall out of that 1 to 4 bracket into the 5 to 8. Make quarterfinals. And who knows, that Crusaders, if they get a sniff, they normally find that cheese, baby. You can smell the... Can you smell the cheese? If I'm a Crusader and I can smell the cheese, I'm kidding. I'm finding that cheese, man. So Crusaders in that 5 to 8 bracket. What do you guys think? Moving on. And the top finishers from 2023. They didn't win last year, but they finished on top. The Chiefs, mana. They play the Crusaders first up. What a game that is going to be. Coach Clayton McMillan, Captain Luke Jacobson. Chiefs are my favorite to win it this year. Chiefs are my favorite to win it this year. Losing that GF last year would sting. That would sting. They won. They were on top. They would sting. They were leading for most of that game, I'm pretty sure. They'll be want to come back with a vengeance. Very, very strong group of players again. Core group of players that have been playing together for a long time. Workhorses in the forwards and exciting, speed and excitement merchants in the backs. I think anything less than lifting the trophy this year is a fail for them. That would be their goal, I feel like. Also in their championship window, it's a strong group of players. Can they keep them all there? Anton Leonard-Brown, Luke Jacobson, Damien McKenzie, Sean Stevenson, Imoni Narawai, Nanai Saturu, I'm probably pretty sure he's there as well. Quinn Tupai, Arkoi, Tokia'o. It's a strong squad this. Can they keep it together? No big name signings in the offseason unless I've missed something. I tried my best to do deep diving in the research, but I'm just excited, man. I'm excited for Quinn Tupai to be back. That horrible knee injury that kept him out for a long chunk of time. He looks back and fit as all hell. Look here. Fit. That way, yeah. Look here. Fit as all hell. He looks good. And he'll be keen. Just give me the ball, man. Give me the ball. Let me run over someone. Imoni Narawai, Sean Stevenson. Guys got a sniff of that All Blacks jumper. Got a few caps under their belts. Narawai obviously got injured just before the World Cup and had to be replaced. Gutting, but that's part of everyone's their personal rugby journey. They'll be itching to go, man. To cement their spot or get spots again in that All Black squad. D-Mac obviously putting his hand up for that number 10 spot for the All Blacks. And it starts here this whole Super Rugby season will be his trial. Can he do it? I think he can, man. He's just a gun. He's just a weapon, isn't he? Damien McKenzie, one of the best to do it. 10 or at fullback. Size doesn't matter. Give Damien McKenzie the ball. Give him a forward pack going forward. And the ball, let's go, baby. He even take on the kicking duties for the Chiefs, I reckon, and for the All Blacks. Give him that, man. Give him those responsibilities. I'm looking at someone like Cortez Ratima, the little number 9, second or third year now. Bright talent at number 9. Nippy, knows where good number 9s know to run those support lines. He's always there. Quality service off the deck. Obviously, injuries, hopefully stays away from them and gets a good crack at that number 9 jumper. I think also someone like Selby Rickett had a superb year with Bay of Plenty. I'm pretty sure in the NPC, he'll be want to just take that confidence from there into the Super Rugby season. And then everyone's guy, Koi will want to just go to a new level. Got a taste of New Zealand Maori team that's obviously playing that next level. He just want to step up his game again. Been in and around it for a while. Give me that 4 or 5 jumper and let me hold on to it. Even in the back row, just to be that extra option in the line out as well will be good for the Chiefs. Obviously, a massive gap left by Sam Cane leaving, but Luke Jacobson to lead them around the park. Very similar style player, and they are out and out my favourites to win this year. What do you guys think? Let me know. I hope you stuck around for most of this preview. Like I said, there's only little bits of every team. You can't get to everything. Otherwise, I could sit here for 3-4 hours. Like I said, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm going to be covering the Super Rugby Pacific. I can't wait for it to start. Let's go, man. Let's go. And I'll see you next time. Bye.